Oh, hey, greetings, humans. Welcome back to the Black Pill. Um, let's talk about on being a camel. Sort of working some stuff out for a chapter in a book about existential psychology that I'm half-heartedly, practically not writing right now. My supervision clients in China sometimes give me things when I visit, or when they visit. It's a thing. We've had long, sort of painful conversations about it. The ethics are they're complicated. Like the APA Code of Ethics no longer says thou shalt not accept gifts from clients, but $50 I think is the number, and anything over 50 you should definitely say no. And under that, you should really consider whether this is causing some kind of exploitation, power imbalance. Um, the cultural importance, though, you're always supposed to balance the cultural importance of gifts with this exploitation rule and the value and whatever, and the whole thing's a quagmire. Whole thing's a quagmire. And then besides, I don't like gifts, right? Like your dad, I just don't like being given things, and I don't like owning things and keeping things. So it's a mess. But what I can accept is sometimes when my friend is in a place, she thinks of me, and then she buys a thing to sort of signify, concretize the thought. And like eventually I've been able to sort of convince people that rather than buy things for me, it's sufficient to note the urge to do so. Hey, I was at a market and I saw a lantern shaped like a book, and I thought of you. Ah, cool. Nice. Let's talk about it. So, the camel. My friend, a former supervision client from Beijing, she brought me a brass camel. She thought of me because the camel carries around a lot of things and people. It's strong, tireless. And, we had the usual conversation about bringing me stuff, and I put the thing aside. Later, I had to think about it. We were at a retreat together with a gang of existential therapists from a couple different countries. A Gestalt person, Veronica, was leading us through some body work, paired body. London Bridge is the exercise. Now my friend is 4'10", give or take, and I'm somewhat over 6 feet tall. There's a similar discrepancy in our body mass. Um, the exercise is that you get your partner and you put the palms of your hands together with your partner's palms, arms over your head, and then slowly walk your feet back, slowly until you're resting at that apex point on your hands, holding each other up. And like, I had serious trouble trusting this tiny, tiny person to hold my weight. That's not quite right. I had serious trouble burdening this person with myself. Earlier, I'd sort of balked at sitting on a trained therapy horse because of my size. Veronica got me on the horse, a quite large quarter horse, and I just sat. I sat in the immensity of being held. I am again quite large. I take up space. I'm heavy. In my mind, nobody can hold me or lift me or even really restrain me. My wife and son took self-defense classes. They took Taekwondo, and the instructor showed them a hold that would hold even the biggest person. And they put it on me. I'm like, man, I'm a professional, right? I restrain people for a living. I was working at the psychiatric hospital. This is what I do. I'm telling you, this isn't. And they did their best, and I could just swing them around like the baggage handler at the airport with your being so careful with your bags, right? Like that. So being held in this way, sitting on top of a 1,300-pound animal that barely even seemed to notice I was there and just bask in the hugeness of this animal, it was really quite an experience, actually. Like, I sat on horses before when I was smaller, didn't think that much about it, and this just it really just bam, it hit me in a particular way. Then Veronica, the equine lady, also the leader of this Gestalt thing, and a dear friend at this point in life, sort of invited me to. She sat on the couch and she knew what I was going through, and she's like, "Here, put your head in my lap." And I did, and I came and I sort of rested my head right there, and she just sort of stroked my hair and talked over me to other people and just held me while I went through this experience of being held. And like I hadn't really been held by a person in this way since I was a much smaller since I was a child, really, you know. And it was a very special moment for me. You know, it was a revelatory moment and a change moment. You know, I don't know if any other big people can maybe relate to that. So now we're doing London Bridge, me and this tiny person, and the next switch flips. You know, we succeed in assuming the position, and we're braced against each other, and it's an equal partnership. And my little friend says something like, "You idiot! Do you think because I'm small, I'm not strong?" I went, "No, obviously not. Uh, I didn't think you couldn't hold me. I thought nobody could hold me. Now I need to think." I keep the camel at my office where I can see it. It means something, you know. Accepting gifts is important sometimes, and those gifts might be things, tchotchkes, a teapot. Those gifts might also be intangibles. They might be support, or care, or concern. And with clients and friends, those things are always somewhere between fraught and complicated. And with friends, like take out the ethics guidelines, there remains honor and obligation and history. And my friend, she balked too. In a car touring the Garden of the Gods, she confessed that she had never imagined anyone could be so hospitable. The group had treated her just incredibly well from her perspective, beyond her imagination. You know, there's a retreat into the countryside and a few days at my house sleeping in the guest room, and I made her whatever American food she wanted to try for breakfast, you know, waffles and French toast and pancakes and strawberries and cream. And there was horseback riding at the retreat, and there was paddle boarding in the mountains, and the holding environment of the retreat. And, you know, she was exhausted by it all. She was exhausted by it all. She'd said before, this is all a dream. It isn't real. In like a distressed way. Like this isn't real. In a week I have to go home. And that is real. Like accepting the reality of love and care was in some way dangerous. Like yeah, I get it. I've been to her side of the planet, man, and everywhere on Earth, hospitality is a major it's a major concern. You know, if your guests leave underfed and under entertained and stuff, it's a real dishonor to anyone anywhere, right? So I'd been in that position many times, just at my limit of accepting any more hospitality. I can't. It feels bad, and I knew how she felt. And at this moment in the car in Garden of the Gods, she said, "I just can't handle all this hospitality." But look, real relationships are bi-directional, right? And she was getting the one-sidedness of it from the other side for a minute. My friend had been a client for a long time, years, like 5 years of supervision. And in the beginning, it was really important that I give but never take, right? Self-disclosure happened, but it was strategic and, you know, to teach the art of self-disclosure. And my job was to hold space for her, to hold her while she had big feelings and experienced existential terror and the risk of trying on new ways of being. But over time, the relationship is what makes therapy work, and it's what makes supervision work. And real relationships are give and take. They go both ways, right? So it was necessary by year 4, it was necessary to start to share with her. Like, I have problems too. I have emotions. I have issues. Then she could start to see sort of I'm not a statue to admire, but a person with faults, so she can live with her own faults. And she can give as well as receive support in a normal, healthy relationship. Existentialism is experiential, and if you can never experience giving support, it's not real. It's a dream. And like living that relationship is necessary for living well in general. But I had real trouble doing that. It wasn't until this retreat, the horse, the couch, the London Bridge, that I sort of started to put it together, to make sense of things, to have a theory and a practice that could be elucidated and tested. And yeah, and this is it. So I keep that camel. I keep that camel where I can see it. It was a gift that was intended as a compliment. It's about strength and honor and how much I can rely on you. And I keep it as a reminder that I'm a camel. I carry stuff for other people. I carry a lot of stuff. And I carry all of my own stuff, and I never really rest. I never really rest. And like, I have some gripes about being the unsupported supporter, for sure. But part of that, at least some of that, is my fault, because when someone is there who could hold space for me, when someone's there who could hold me, I don't let them. I don't let them do it. And so the camel seems really strong and proud and noble until it isn't. Anyway, I'm not good at writing endings. Anyone reading my novels would notice that, I suppose. So that's all. That's the end of the thing. Except maybe this isn't really the end of this talk. In a private chat, I'm still processing this stuff with an unexpected friend, and twice at work, yesterday and today, I've been in a situation where someone had to yield to my sort of special needs, and they did that gracefully and willingly and with love, and I feel weird about it. I'm still working on that. Still working on it. So, maybe I'll write the end another time. But really, the work goes on and on and on until we die. Okay, bye.